Hey folks, this is BestInSlot. Welcome back to our Mods of the Week Spotlight series for Jurassic World Evolution 2, and this is possibly the most exciting week we've had since the game actually came out. It was a real breakthrough week, not only the thing in the thumbnail and the title and that big hype moment, but also something else, and actually just generally some really cool new designs that I'm going to showcase throughout this video. So very exciting stuff. Before we dig into that, and it is more important than ever this week, disclaimer, messing around with mods can, and in some cases probably will, break your game or indeed summon a demon, Asmodeus. Asmodeus will eat your cake and indeed eat your face. Whichever he chooses will depend on his calorie count for the day. Not actually sure which would be worse, your face or a cake. Suppose it depends on the cake. Suppose it depends on your face. Getting off track, the point is, if a demon gets summoned or indeed your game breaks, it's not Frontier's fault, it's not the mod maker's fault, and it's not my lovely fault either, because I'm lovely. Right, all that said and done, let's get started. And we're going to start off with a very cool mod. I'm just going to release a bunch of Archaeornithomimus to kick things off here. And then I'm going to go into sandbox settings and change the setting I was already meant to change, which is dinosaur starvation. So we're going to turn dinosaur starvation back off or on or something. So dinosaurs need to eat, basically. And what we're going to see here is a new mod by Chaodenic, because all the cool mods are by Chaodenic, and this is the expanded Behaviour mod. Now it changes a humongous host of different things, different properties for our dinosaurs. Injuries, for example, although Frontier already reduced them, it's still pretty high. They've been reduced massively in this update. Dinosaurs now only hunt for food, not for sport. Every carnivore in the game was hunting for sport in the past. Now they only hunt for food, except for the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor, which will hunt for sport, because that's just kind of who they are, basically. Dinos now have different stress responses as well. Instead of a dinosaur being happy, and then suddenly it's in the red and it wants to break out and murder everyone, dinosaurs now have different stress responses as they work their way down to that stress marker. So some dinosaurs might go and break out. They might, give the fence a little bump. Not try to actually full on break out, but they'll hit it once out of frustration. Some dinosaurs will go comatose. Some dinosaurs will stress starve. They'll stop eating if you're not looking after them correctly. Just makes the dinosaurs feel a little bit more alive rather than just having like a toggle switch where they decide they're going to break out and ruin the world. There's also a really cool new thing where arid dinosaurs, now it's only Styracosaurus. This skin is lovely, by the way. Archaeornithomimus has fantastic skins in this game. Look at that thing. What an absolute beauty. Styracosaurus is a new thing, and I think it's the only one right now, where arid dinosaurs well suited to living in arid environments, get their water, or at least part of their water, from food. As animals in arid environments often do, they're much better at getting water from their food, because that helps them survive in an area with a lack of water. So now dinosaurs will do the same thing. The final thing is what I'm trying to show you here, but it's not doing anything quite yet. I'm not totally sure why. Let me speed up time. Oh, yep, there we go. So, as you can see, very cool. Go on, one more time, buddy. So it's using the herbivore animation, of course, but still, that is a omnivorous Archaeornithomimus. Now, two dinosaurs in the game are omnivorous, Archaeornithomimus and the Troodon. Now, I believe, I can't remember the order of this. Troodon is like more likely to favour meat over plants, but it's like 65-35. Archaeornithomimus will always go for plants 95% of the time. If plants are around, they'll go for plants, and then 5% of the time, they'll go for meat. So that's why I've cleared all the plants out of the habitat, so they're forced to eat the meat, basically. And it's really cool. They're no longer obligate carnivores, obligate herbivores. They will just go ahead and tuck into that alternate food source if that's the only food source around, especially for the Archie. Just a nice little detail change. I think that's a really cool thing. I love a bit of omnivore dinosaurs. Anyways, I'm going to reload my save and we're going to check out some new species and stuff. As per usual, if you want to mess around with these mods for yourselves, they're all linked in the Mods of the Week document in the description down below. Let's check out some dinosaurs. So, first up is a Dilophosaurus mod. Very cool. This is the Jag Dilophosaurus mod by Frana, and it's added, essentially, for those of you who've played Monster Hunter will recognise this instantly. It's a Jaggy, basically. It's a very common dinosaur-esque reptilian creature that bounces around all over the place. And there's big versions, little versions, and it does jaggy kind of things. And these were back in the first Monster Hunter I played, way back when on the PSP, I think was the first one I ever played. Either way, really well-made mod, and the jaggy really suits the Dilophosaurus in a really cool way. I would love to see a whole host of Monster Hunter mods and be able to make like a Monster Hunter themed park. I think that'd be a really cool thing. I've got to say, this is one of the... I'm sure the model is pulled from a Monster Hunter game. I assume so anyway, but it's put onto the rig really nicely. Animates beautifully. The way that the frill works, I mean, maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's just straight up modeled onto Dilo. The way the frill works and expands outwards works perfectly with the jaggy. It's really cool stuff, and I'm super impressed, really. And that's not where the fun stops. The fun carries on, actually, in an upward direction. More fun all the time. Because we have... Look at that beast. This is the Big Jag Allosaurus, also by Frana, so not just the, God, those colours are crazy. I keep cutting my tongue on my tooth. Not just, oh, are we going to get social? I don't know what they're doing. They're forming a cult circle. Not just the little Jag, we now have the Big Jag as well. Again, looks really good, really well made, perfectly fits in onto the rig and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily fit with Jurassic World Evolution, but I think if you build a whole park around this, it would look really cool. I'm very hopeful that's something they keep working on, and we can get some of the even crazier Monster Hunter creatures into the game. I'm a big fan of Monster Hunter, so this is really cool to see, and really well made, and shout out to Frana. And like I said, you can download this from the description link down below. You can give it a little shake. Right, another mod. I've been excited about this one for a while. I think it released in the past, and it was broken, if I remember correctly. But now it's not broken, hopefully, and it's going to work, and it's going to be sexy. This is a Giganotosaurus mod. Yeah! Thank you for that, Big Jackie. Goddamn Big Jaggy. So this is the Dominion Giganotosaurus mod made by the exceptionally talented Games Video for Life, with help, it must be said, from Hip, and definitely not Dilophosaurus, who sounds like they're probably a Dilophosaurus to me. I don't know. I would suspect they're a Dilophosaurus. Anyone who says they're definitely not something is usually something. Anyways, yeah, so this is the Dominion iteration of the Giganotosaurus. Now, hopefully, we're going to get this officially in the game come summer when Jurassic World Evolution is already out. When Jurassic World Dominion comes out. But until then, if you wanted the Dominion Giga in your game, you've got it, right? So this is actually, I think this is the correct pattern colour. Killian Mountains, but you wouldn't have Rana. I think taking off the Rana pattern would be the correct combination to make this look like the film version. It doesn't say it on the mod page. It should. But beyond that, yeah, it's really, really cool. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Dominion Giga in the film context, but you bring it into Evolution, and suddenly I'm like, you know what? It's pretty cool, actually. I quite like it. I really like the aggressiveness of the hump and the way the spikes come up here, especially on the back. The skin pattern is actually one of the things I really do like about the Dominion Giga, and it looks really good here. It's mainly the white and then the black kind of teardrop, inky, fiery kind of pattern dropping down along the back. Very aggressive splaying out of the eyebrow arch. I'm sure there's a better name for it than eyebrow arch, but I'm just going to say that eyebrows are on fleek and move on from my depressing life. But yeah, it looks fantastic. Big shout out to the 3 people I mentioned. I'm not going to say the names again, that's too many names. Dominion Giga looking absolutely fantastic. If you wanted to, you know, get ahead of the curve a little bit before June 10th, then this is your opportunity to do so. Now, one more mod to go. We're going to hop over to the seas. Of course, you know what this is going to be. This is a Megalodon mod. Now, the big thing about this, of course, is that it's a new species. If I open the hatchery bay, you'll see we now have 9 marine species rather than the usual 8. And Megalodon sits there as part of the wider list. It's even called Megalodon, you know, the name's changed and everything's been done to fully integrate it into the game. So let's release this. I have picked this time the great white shark skin combination, as mentioned on the page. Oh, this is by LA Studios, I should mention. And LA Studios is Leviathan, Mecha, and Ario 12323. I don't have the name written down. Anyways, it's a Megalodon. More importantly, it's a Megalodon. It's beautiful. Of course, this is the Megalodon we've already seen here on the channel. This was one of the very first new species that came out in the entire game. I think we showcased this on week 1, actually, the Megalodon. But now it is a new individual species. That is, of course, a humongous breakthrough for Jurassic World Evolution 2 modding. I even said myself, suggested that the reason Evolution 2 modding has been held off a little bit, and I know this is the case for several modders I've talked to, is because we weren't able to make them into new species. And people were holding off until that was the case, essentially. But yeah, really, really cool. Looks great with the great white shark skin. Looks great in the other skins as well. Looks like a Megalodon, which I really appreciate. You know, it's not just a big shark, a big great white, which is how often people make Megalodons like that all the time. It's got these weird features. It's chunky and bulky, and then the pointed nose. It's very strange looking, like it should be. Very cool stuff. Now, before we go, I do need to talk about the Megalodon a little bit, because this is a breakthrough in modding, and of course that comes with risks. And this is why I needed to emphasize the disclaimer at the start of this video. I'm just going to read this out, because this is important. Are you ready? And you can just watch my, I'm going to call her Meg, because I'm very original like that. I'm hoping for a shark feed at some point. Currently, any aquatic, emphasis on aquatic new species, won't have working hunting, fighting animations, whereas land and air new species do. Which is an interesting idea, by the way, because it suggests there are land and air species on the way. This is because Frontier made aquatic animations based on the individual aquatic animal instead of following the classic class-based animation system for whatever reason. So each individual aquatic creature has its own animation class and suite, and it's all wrapped up per creature, which is an interesting thing to do. I'm not sure why they would do that. This is impossible to fix for the foreseeable future, and if it was possible we would have delayed release, but the files for the animations are unavailable to us as modders, and the Cobra tools, that's the modding tools that we use for Jurassic World Evolution, and the devs working on Cobra tools are going to need months and months to fix that if they're going to do so. So when any animations play out, they likely break a bit or a lot. This is something we're aware of, and it'll be fixed. Well, when it can be fixed, it will be updated. This species works functionally, will live fine in your parks apart from crashing when eating tuna, but for those reasons we're calling it a beta. We hope you get at least a mention of this so people are aware of what's going on. Oh, this was for YouTubers, by the way. So mention this before people download things and don't overwhelm us with bug reports. Enjoy. We also have a few other new species working perfectly with no bugs that we plan on sending out soon. So those will be terrestrial and flying creatures, because those are working fine. P.S. Hello, BestInSlot. It's cute. Right, so yeah, so it's not working perfectly. Aquatics are going to take a little bit more work, a little bit more time. I think people may hold off on the aquatics for that point. We'll have to wait and see, which is a shame, because I think actually in terms of exciting new species, aquatic creatures are probably the best. You know, in terms of the possibilities and mixing things up and making things a little crazy, aquatic species are probably better than anything else in the game. It lacking the hunting and needing specifically, you know, as I've hidden away. I've just realised that I've not turned food back on, by the way, and that's why it's not hunting. Okay, it's time. Here we go. I think it's time. Oh, wait, let me get a bit closer. So as you can see, even that's not perfect, but the important thing is it didn't break the game more than anything else. And there you go. We're gonna ripped it in half like so. I think it's the Mosasaurus animation as opposed to the Pleurodon animation. Chronosaurus, I should say, animation. Anyways, that is the Yellow Studios Megalodon. Even if it's not perfect, it is a huge breakthrough. Oh, shout out to Kiner as well for helping make it new species. I think that's everyone. Fantastic work either way. Big breakthrough for modding. Very excited that even if aquatics don't work, it seems that flyers and terrestrials do, so we should hopefully see an influx of that. And then in our next mod of the week video this weekend coming, should have lots of cool things to show you. We'll have to wait and see. It'll take some people time to get used to the new tools and the ability to do this, but it is the next step in modding unlocked, and that's very exciting to me. Hope it's exciting to you too. Throw me a like down below and go check out every single one of these people's mods. Give them some love, endorse the mod, leave a positive comment, all that kind of jazz. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.